Good morning, everyone, and welcome to RevUP 10.
Morning.
Um, Pardon?
Morning.
Good morning, Craig. How are you?
Doing okay. How about you?
Good. We're going to have a special guest, Rob Zito, today. I'm going to let Rob kind of start everything. Um, Tell us what he's been up to. We haven't seen him for a while. I know he's been up to some new stuff. And tell us a little bit about him and the company and everything for those new agents that may not be familiar with Rob.
Okay. Well, hey
Take it
guys.
away.
I'm Rob Zito. I work for PRMG Mortgages, Paramount Residential Mortgage Group. We are a residential mortgage group. I get a lot of questions about hard money and land loans, but I can probably refer you to some people. But we primarily deal with residential mortgage loans, condos, you know, residential mortgages. So I've been doing it for 30 years. I've been working with Linnea for, gosh, no, 5, 6 years now. Um, we do everything from, modular, which some people call mobile, all the way up to jumbos and, multi-unit dwellings. So I am a resource for you. We have some, I'm the producing branch manager, Frisco location. We have some things in the works. My business partner and I, we're pairing up with builders now, builders that build probably between 25 and 100 homes a year, uh, you know, trying to work out some exclusive deals with them to be their mortgage rep. So, we will have heads up on listings. Most importantly, a lot of them are affordable, in the $300,000 range, so as not to exclude first-time home buyers and all of that. Um, we also offer, down payment assistance programs, the Texas TSHAC, TDACA, and SETH programs. But currently they're they're not the most beneficial. Sometimes we can actually help them out better with a credit versus, doing the down payment assistance program. Finally, I don't know if anyone on the call here has received my invitation for list reports. Um, I used to use it quite a while, kind of turned it off for a few months there. They were going through a merger with MBS Highway, which is a mortgage-backed security highway. Barry Habib, he's our guru for the mortgage industry, tells us everything that's going on with the bonds for, mortgage and mortgage interest rates. But he has fascinating tools that I use with your clients to show them, on video calls, power of buying, the cost of waiting, right down to loan side by side loan comparisons. But he has now incorporated that into list reports, which is a free site for you guys to use. You guys can now get market reports on top of, easy access stuff to send, through social media, daily uh, texts or whatever. They have pre-designed stuff. They also have single property listing sites, that link to your MLS that are very easy to post up, or I can do them. I can get with Linnea later and, send you guys invites. If you're already were paired with somebody, but you don't do business with that loan officer any longer, it's real easy to switch over to me as well. But yeah, I didn't know if Linnea had known in the last month or so. They've done a lot of upgrades, and I think there might be something you do on your side that once you throw something in MLS, it'll automatically post it into list reports as well, and you can get all those nice, independent websites and open house flyers and brochures and things of that. And it enables me to also help co-market it. I mean, I have 500-600 agents in the Dallas Fort Worth area that I can share all your listings with and get better traffic too. But anyway, again, that's free list reports. And I'll turn it back over to Linnea and you just, have me jump in when you need me.
I sure will. And thanks, Rob. And
Thank
just
you.
for those of you who aren't familiar with Rob, he and I have done a lot of business together, and he's a wealth of information. And he is very, very good at what he does. He will research loans available and match what loan product is best for your client. He's really good with T-Shack and the down payment assistance programs. A few years ago, I think we were knocking it out of the park with those. We were doing them left and right.
And people were walking in with no money.
Yeah, yeah. And so he is a very, very good resource for y'all. Give him a try.
Yeah.
He's pretty easy to work with.
I put
Otherwise,
myself
I
in the
beat him
chat.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, I put
otherwise, I
myself
beat
in
him
the
up.
chat, and feel free to call me anytime, nights, weekends.
Yeah,
Cell's always on.
yeah. And he always answers his phone. He has done a couple deals with Brownie. I think you're working on one now with Brownie, aren't you?
Brownie, Ashley Gaynor,
Yep,
few of you guys.
yep. So he's got
Oh
some
yeah,
deals in the
Monica.
works.
Monica
Yep,
just emailed me. Yeah, Monica Love.
cool. All right. Well, thank you. Are you going to hang out and participate?
Absolutely.
All right, good. All right, well, let us go over to the slideshow. Does anybody have any questions for Rob before we start going through this?
Nope.
All righty. Well,
Um,
let's go back to our RevUp course for today. Today, we are going to do module 10, which is finding motivated sellers and preparing the winning listing, or preparing to win the listing. I'm sorry. Daily affirmation for us. I always put my client's best interest first, and I do the right thing for them, knowing it will come back to me tenfold. That is so true, you guys. Mario and I were having a conversation via text this morning. He's working on a deal, and he did not feel it was in the best interest of his client, and I don't think so either. So we're probably going to walk away from the deal. Don't be afraid to walk if it's not in the best interest of your client. These people seemed a little shady, and we don't need to work with people like that. There's plenty of inventory out there. We can find something else that we can go to. And Rob dropped his cell phone in the chat if anybody needs it. So do what's right. Bottom line on that. Okay, let's see. This week we're going to talk about finding motivated sellers. Next week we're going to talk about winning the listing and negotiating the sale. So and I do have a special guest coming in next week, hopefully, fingers crossed. She stopped by the office unannounced last night, and she is actually a professional stager. We don't have a contact for a stager that I'm aware of. So I talked to her for quite a while. She's a delightful young lady. So she'll be with us next week, hopefully. She's going to confirm today or tomorrow. And we'll let her have a little bit of time and talk about her and her company and how we can utilize her services best and how she charges and all that good stuff. All righty. Today's learning objectives, we are going to talk about the effective research and preparation for getting a listing. We're going to talk about the components of a pre-listing package, how to determine an accurate price point range with a comparative market analysis, scripts and dialogues for sellers. I know you guys aren't big into scripts and dialogues. I use them as a template and customize them to myself because you don't want to sound rehearsed or canned. So just adjust the scripts that we have and make them yours. But you need something to follow, especially if you're new in the industry. You need to know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. So it's always good to have an outline of a script so you know what to do and you stay on point. Can talk about circles of opportunity, how to find a qualified and motivated sellers. We're going to talk about customizing your Realty One Group listing presentation, 7 steps to a listing process, and then qualifying, how to qualify your sellers, and your pre-listing questionnaire. I have a really good questionnaire. I think it was in the homework that I sent out to y'all too. Please use it. It's very good. It's very detailed. I want to say it's like 36 questions. And so make sure that you're going over and asking the questions so we don't have any issues going forward. This thing's in my way, so bear with me a second. There, we're going to drop that down. Some things I want you to do for the new quarter. We've got a new quarter coming up. I want you to take some time and actually, I may call on a couple of you right now and put you on the spot because I love doing that. Pull out a sheet of paper for me, and or just take a notepad or whatever you have, and write down your name. Write down when you were licensed or when you started in the industry. If you have a specialty or if you'd like to have a specialty, maybe it's luxury, maybe it's relo, maybe it's a niche market, go ahead and put that down. We still have a quarter left of 2023, so give me one goal you have for 2023. And then what is your best asset? What is something that you feel or people have told you is your best asset? And then if a person closest to you were to describe you as an animal, what animal would that be? We're going to come back to this at the end. Remind me to come back to this, but take a screenshot of this. And then kind of while we're doing this, give me some answers for these questions, especially the last one. And we'll talk about it a little bit at the very end before we close. Oh, Mario can't talk, so he's fine. So he's excused, but all right. And then I have another assignment for you guys by the next class, which is September 28th. I've been talking about this and talking about it and talking about it, and nobody's gotten back to me with their accountability partner or accountability buddy. I need you all to please put some thought to this, get together, find somebody that's an accountability partner for you, somebody within our office, whoever, and then email me by the next class and let me know who you're paired with. I'll keep track of it, and I'll keep accountability on the accountability partners. Make sure y'all are doing okay and understand the process on that. But it's just a way to kind of, if you're having a bad day and you have a set meeting with your accountability partner and you call and talk to each other and find out what's going on, what's new, what are you struggling with, that accountability partner will be able to help you. In addition to holding you accountable to what your goals are, they will be able to pull you out of any funk that you're in. That's why it's good to partner up with another agent, and just kind of talk about what's going on. My accountability partner, I think I've told you guys multiple times, is in Nevada. Adorable lady, Realty One Group, Nevada location, the Summerlin location. Smarta is her name, and once every 6 to 8 weeks, we reach out to each other via text, via phone, whatever, and just find out how are we doing, what's going on, what is changing in their market versus our market. Do they maybe have some ideas that we haven't tried that we could try that would help here, and vice versa? It is really good to have an accountability partner, just someone in another market, especially for me, that I can talk to. I can find out what challenges they are having in Las Vegas and see if it's similar to what we're having here. And what I'm finding out from my last conversation with Smarta, yeah, they're pretty much similar, having similar situations there. Market's a different market, but everything is kind of drying up like it is here. It's really a tough market for everybody right now. And so, she and I talked about maybe some ideas that might work for either or both of our businesses and how we could implement those. So it's always good to have an accountability partner. I schedule my time with her. I put it on my calendar, and it's usually 15 to 20 minutes. So it's not a great amount of time. And we try to avoid the chit chat. We try to just keep on point. And, how's your business? What's your challenges, and vice versa. So it's really nice to have that. So I highly recommend, and I'm going to put you guys on task by the next meeting. Please have your accountability partner to me. All right, we're going to talk finding motivated sellers. I got something in chat here. Hang on. Angelo. Oh, Mario, does that mean that you and Angelo are accountability partners? I'm hoping.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
And
Good.
my mom is also my accountability partner since I live with her. And
Cool. Cool. Well, email that to me, please. I'll have Angelo email it to me, and then I'll keep track of all that. That's great. Glad you guys are doing that. Okay, top reasons for securing your listings. Um, you have greater control over your time if you're working with sellers. You build a reputation in your marketplace. You can handle considerably larger volume than with buyers. With buyers, you're kind of like a shuttle service, a taxi service, and you're just moving them all around town. But with sellers, you're not that way. You don't have as much time that you're putting into hands on with them, taking them out, showing them. Now, granted, sometimes your sellers will turn into buyers, but when they turn into buyers, they're buyers. When they're sellers, they're sellers. Kind of have to separate the two. So make sure that you're turning yourself into a listing machine. That's where the money's going to be. Michael's told you that multiple times, and I've told you that multiple times. So you need to concentrate on sellers right now, and focus. Who do I know that could be a seller? This is a good source. There are 11 things other than Craigslist on here. I do not recommend Craigslist. Please don't do it because it can be dangerous. You get a lot of weirdos off Craigslist, in my opinion. I'm going to pick on somebody. Troy, what do you think about Craigslist?
Why are you picking on me? I'm the new guy.
Because I know you've got more experience with it than most of the others.
So most of my Craigslist ads have been not fruitful for my
Yeah,
business.
yeah,
So I just don't spend any time on it.
yeah, yeah. And that's pretty much what I found. Or I get the strangest people in the world responding to them. And so don't focus on Craigslist. There are plenty of other places we've talked about before. We talked about probate sales. We've talked about divorce sales. We've talked about expireds, FISBOs. We've done classes on those. They're the low hanging fruit. They're tough. Brownie did start doing some FISBOs, and he got a really good turnout on, or people were willing to listen to him and meet with him. So it was a lot easier than he and I both thought it was going to be. So don't forget your for sale by owner people. But remember, you approach them in a different way from a traditional seller. You're looking at them more as finding information from them. And we'll do another class on for sale by owners. And I don't think any of you guys, maybe Mario attended the last one, but we'll do the for sale by owner class again here in a little bit after we finish RevUP, and talk to you about how to market to a for sale by owner client. And in expired the same way. Once their listing expires in MLS, they're getting bombarded by agents. And so it's a little bit, you have to handle it with kind of kid gloves on that, because they don't want to get a million calls and they're getting a million calls. So there's a little finesse that's required on expireds. But they're good. They're a good source. They've had their house first listed for sale, so they want to sell it. It's just a matter of getting to them and finding out, can you help them? Are you the best match to help them?
Got a lot to do with George.
Yep, there you go. All right. And then out of state owners, we have all the programs in Netris that will help us find out where ownership is. Is it out of state? Is it in state? We can pull all that information, and you can market to just out of state owners. That's a good resource for sellers. Garage sales. If people are having a garage sale, chances are they're going to be moving. Check out the garage sales in your neighborhood. Talk to them. Your sphere or circle of influence. I harp on this all the time to y'all. That is probably one of your best places to start. The people you know, like, and trust you, they may not be buying themselves. However, they may know somebody who is looking to buy, sell, or lease something out, or even do a commercial project. So they are a valuable resource for you guys. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm doing real estate now. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. I'm with Realty One Group. Um, who do you know that might be buying, selling, or leasing in the next 6 months, 8 months, whatever you decide? And then write the information down and ask them, could you share or make an introduction? If they can make an introduction to that person for you, that is the best. Could you take a few minutes? Maybe we can have a cup of coffee. I'm buying, and you could introduce me to this person, and we could have a little discussion, and see if we're a good match and I can help them out. Um, put it out there. If you don't ask, you're not going to get. So please make sure that you're asking the right questions. Life events. If somebody has a child, well, we're past graduation now, but if you know somebody that's going to be relocating, or they've just added a child, or any of that, those are life events that are going to change their living situation possibly. So reach out to them and say, hey, congratulations. I understand you're going to have a baby, or you just had a baby. Sorry, the dogs are barking. Amazon's probably here. And then ask them, are you going to need to buy, sell a home? And could I, help you out with that? If you don't ask, you're not going to get it. So make sure you're asking. Door knocking, we've had multiple conversations on that. Monica probably does the best job of that. She's very active in her community. She takes the kids and the dogs for walks and talks to people in her neighborhood. She knows what's going on. She will do door hangers. She'll farm her neighborhood really well. So that's something that you guys need to get familiar with and do. Specialized groups. Maybe you belong to, I don't know, the Rotary Club, or the Masons, Freemasons, or a church, or anything along those lines that are specialized groups. Ask them. You don't have to be a pest about it, but just let people know, hey, if anybody needs real estate related services, I'm now in the real estate market and I have a phenomenal team that's helping me, and we would love the opportunity to show you what we can do. And then, put it out there and see what happens, and just keep following up. Gentle reminders every now and then. Wear your name badge. You have a meeting, go to wear your name badge. Just stuff like that. It's really easy to get the information once you start asking the right questions. Referrals, we've gone over referrals before. 85% of my client base refers me. And so that's a good number. That's where everybody needs to be. And we talked about, all the rest of the stuff. Just get yourself out there, get your name out there, and, let people know who you are, what you do, and all of that good stuff. Scripts and dialogues, like I said, you need to memorize them. Don't be reading them while you're talking to people. You need to stand in front of a mirror and read the script to yourself. Or if you need to find somebody, your accountability partner is a good person to go over scripts with and kind of do a role-playing situation. If you have a pet, they are a captive audience. Read your scripts to your pets, and your family as well. Have your spouse help you, and customize these scripts to you. Internalize that. Make sure that you add information into these scripts. So these scripts are just an outline. Make sure you add information in there that talks about you and who you are, what your business values are, what your core values are, and incorporate all of that into your script, and then capitalize on your strengths. We have a phenomenal team of people. We have, well, if Troy joins us, I'm picking on him today, we'll have another broker. So we'll be up to 4 brokers. So use that in your scripts and let people know we have a wealth of information that we can provide. And we have multiple brokers in our office, associate brokers in our office, that are able to help us out if we have a situation that we're not familiar with. So even though you're new to the market, you have a ton of help, and we have a team of people that are willing to help. No 2 people have ever had the same experience exactly the same. So use that information and know that we're there to help you and to provide information. Okay, the Ford, we're not going to spend a lot of time on Ford, but your family, occupation, recreation, and your dreams. Concentrate on those things. And like it says here, practice, practice, practice. If you want to go to Realty One Group, the one login, and go to One U, there is a real estate book 7. And I think it's done by Nancy DeGroat. It's further back in here. I can't find it right now, but go to One University. I'll get the name of it. She has a whole series on scripts and all of that, and some of them are very good. So go take a little time, go check them out, see if they're helpful. I have a book of scripts as well. If you need them, let's set a time and get together and do that. And then when you're doing your prospecting, schedule 3-hour time blocks for yourself. And the first hour, do your preparation, know who you're going to call, know why you're going to call them, and prepare, to know about their property. Spend some time, do your research, do your due diligence, and get all ready to go. And then the second hour, you're actually going to call the prospect, and you're just going to keep dialing for dollars, is what we used to call it. And you're just going to make one call after another. Take some notes on each. And so when you are ready to set your follow-up, you can go back and look at those notes. But make sure that your job during that second hour is just to call person after person after person and take notes. And then that third hour, that's when you'll actually put the notes into your database, schedule your follow-ups, and get everything all ready to go. I have some, we got some notes there from Angelo. I thought I had some questions. But that's probably the best way to do it, is just schedule a 3-hour time block, and do it once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever your schedule allows. And just make sure it is on your schedule for that time and that you follow these simple steps. It takes a little time to get started, but you can do it. And then track your progress. I think you guys got a copy of this in your materials I sent out last Friday. And this will have Monday through Sunday. And of course, if you don't want to work Saturday, Sundays, that's up to you. You guys are your own business people, so you decide what you want to do. And you can talk about your sphere of influence, and how many face-to-face meetings you have, how many calls you have, how many mailers or note cards that you're sending out, how many open houses, all of these different things. You need to put your goals versus your actual on this list. And then you can compare. You can look at your schedule or your little diagram of what your goals are and see, are you on point or are you not? Do you need to adjust something? Why were you not on goal? And those are conversations that we can have if you'd like. But you need to keep track of these things. If you said you're going to make 10 calls on Thursday and you didn't make any, why? Somebody needs to hold you accountable as to why you did not. Was there something that came up? Was it an emergency? Did you have an appointment that maybe you had to adjust your schedule and you ran out of time? Those are acceptable. But if you just didn't feel like doing it, that's not acceptable. If you want to be successful in this business, you have to take the initiative. We're not going to make you do it. You are actually the owner of the business, and you have to go out there and you have to shake the trees. So make sure that you've got your goals down and that you're following them and adjusting them if need be. I hope you're adjusting them up, not down. But get out there. This is a serious business. If you want to have a good first quarter of 2024, now is the time to start putting stuff together. Get people in your pipeline. And I mean, you might be able to realize some of it by the end of the year. Merry Christmas, if that's the case. but more realistically, if anything you do now, you're probably looking at first quarter 2024. Robert, what do you think about that? Is that about the right time frame? I lost Rob.
No, yes, yes.
Yeah, so anything you're doing, it's about 3 months that it takes to get through your pipeline. So
And
anything you're doing now, by the end of the year, end of beginning of first quarter, you should realize some information on it. Now you might get lucky and you find something right away that's happening and they want to close in 3 weeks or whatever. Well, that's great, but don't count on that happening. This is not an immediate turnaround. Anything you're doing now, you're not going to realize for a little while. And don't get discouraged by that. That just means you need to fill that pipeline up now. So you will be so busy in January, you'll be coming to me and begging me to help you out. I can't cover all the clients I have. Can you do a split with me, or can you handle some of these, or can we refer them to another agent? I would love to have that conversation with y'all. So get that
Lynette,
pipeline filled up.
hey, Lynette, if I might add,
Yep.
this is one of my favorite courses, and it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And if I can only add in know your numbers. The way we look at it, let's say one of your real estate transactions, the average transaction is $3,000 per transaction. And let's say you want to do 4 transactions a month, and know your close rate. Like, 1 out of 20 people that you speak to, is a deal. So that means you need to talk to 20 people a week, 5 people a day. And, it don't measure yourself by the quality of the call, like everything, just smooth and no hiccups, no hitches, but measure it by the number of calls that you actually do. And, we usually say go out and try to meet 5 people. If you're doing cold calling or any other types of calls, you know, um, if you can get a hold of 5 to 10 people and you're calling 30 to 50 people in a day, I used to pay virtual callers, dialers to dial 120 people a day for me. It's just whatever level you're comfortable with. But think about how that translates. So, $12,000 a month, $3,000 a week, 20 calls, what percentage of those calls? So, every time that you really speak with somebody, how much that's worth. And then even go a little further and say every good lead and divide that up into, a referral and figure out how much per dollar. So if you're getting $50 per referral, $100 every time you talk to somebody, that's the way to motivate yourself to really get in it. We do a rotation. We do 4 days a week. We're not machines. We do 4 days a week. We say 1 hour or 1 to 2 hours a day. Call past clients on Monday. Call, just do alphabet A's and B's. Call current clients that are active in the system, but just haven't committed. Wednesdays, call your agents. Ask for referrals. Thursday, call your current clients. So rotate it around, mix it up a little bit, and write down when you get a hold of somebody what happened. Did
Yeah.
they hang up? Did they give you an objection? Write that objection down. If you see it more than 2 or 3 times in a row in a day, there's something that you can do to fix that. And,
Mm-hmm.
I've had many of Linnea's people calling me in the last month, with interest rates are high. Not a problem. Come talk to me. There's a lot of things that we can do. You can just set the stage for them enough to be assured to tell them now is the time to buy. We can adjust their interest rate down the line. But home prices is, buyer's market, right? And once interest rates drop, more people are going to enter the market. Now you're going to be asking for more than asking price. And I can't fix that. I can fix the rate down the line. We can get them into a buy down to initiate a super low 5.5% right now. There's a lot of things to do. So whatever the objections are, write them down, talk to Linnea. She might say, hey, call me. That would be great. But I don't want to take up too much of the time. So if you have
Rob
questions,
has
I'll
great
talk.
advice. Thank you on that. And he makes a lot of calls every day. He spends at least an hour on the phone. And that's what y'all need to be doing. I know back in the day when I was shaking the bushes and trying to get some stuff going up, I'd spend more like 3 or 4 hours a day, depending on what I was doing, especially when I was in the moving industry. I was national accounts, and that's kind of a limited resource. And so I would I pull out the old Dallas Business Journal back in the day, and I would find out the top 100 or whatever businesses in the Dallas market. And I would make a list of them. I would research and find out who's their HR person, because HR was my contact. And then I would call these people, cold call these people, talk about painful, guys, but you have to have the right mindset, and you have to keep that smile on your face. I've told you this time and time again. When you're dialing for dollars, you need to be smiling, because that comes across over the phone. Even though they can't see you, they can tell that you are in a good mood. You're a positive person. And that's, people want to work with positive, happy people. So you need to keep that mindset going, and you need to be smiling while you're dialing. And just get out there and force yourself to do it if you have to. And actually, at some point, it quits being a chore and it gets to being fun. I used to kind of make it like a game. How many people can I? And I bring the other national account people in and go, all right, I've got 50 people that I'm calling today. How about you? And let's compare at the end of the day and see who. I'd make a competition. Who gets the most potential clients off these 50 calls? And it worked for us. And you just got to put your head down and pull, keep going. And keep it fun and keep it light. If people are having a good day, and I always ask people when I call them, I know that you're very busy. Is this a bad time? And if they say, yeah, it really is. Okay, great. Well, let me call you back another time. Could I call you Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, or maybe Monday afternoon around 3? Which of those times would work best for you? Have them tell you which time is working best for them. Put it on your calendar and then call them back. Follow up with them. But make sure you ask the question up front. That shows respect up front. If you're asking them, is this a good time? I know you're a very busy person. That shows them that you're a professional and that their time matters as well as your time matters. And so ask the questions in the right way. If we need to do some one-on-one on this, just let me know and we'll certainly go through it. Preparing the listing link. Whoa, that didn't sound right. Preparing to win the listing. Listing presentation. I know we went over this a couple of times. Mario has his done because he's done a couple. Craig is working on his. I'm not sure about anyone else, but Realty One Group has an amazing presentation that you can customize, and you don't have to use the entire presentation if you don't want to. You can even print pages out if you prefer to have it printed. I have a binding machine. I can bind it for you and keep it in your briefcase. Then anywhere you are, you can just pull that out, flip through it, or you can download it onto your laptop and you'll have it on your tablet or whatever you have with you at the time. And make sure that if the opportunity arises, you tell them, let me tell you a little bit about our company. Do you have 5 or 10 minutes? And, let me show you a couple of slides from my presentation. And then go to that PowerPoint and tell them a couple of things. Don't go through the whole thing at that point. Just say, here's a couple of things you may not have thought about. Tell them about you, your background, what your business goals are. And, there's a place in the presentation that has a bio for you. Pull that up and just give them your background. Let them know who you are. That's part of building rapport with these people. And that's half the battle. Once they are familiar with you and comfortable with you, they're going to want to work with you. So take the time and do the process right. Okay, the 7 steps in the listing process is to complete your pre-listing questionnaire. I have a copy of that. We're going to go over it. And then qualify the seller and set the listing appointment. So this is not your listing appointment per se. This is preparing to get to that listing appointment. So ask the questions on the questionnaire, qualify them, and then schedule a time where you can physically come out to their property and see the, and I tell people, you know, I would love to see your home. Can we schedule a time where I can come out and actually view the property? I have some information I'd like to go over with you. I will do a market analysis and have that ready for you. We can talk about it at that point. And then just kind of walk them through the process and tell them it'll take approximately an hour, maybe a little bit longer. When's convenient for you, for us to schedule this time, and then set that listing appointment and follow up with them before the listing appointment. I usually do the day before. I will email or call or text them and say, hey, just want to confirm I have this down for 10 o'clock tomorrow. Is that still a good time? Has anything changed? Is there something I need to know about? If you have any pets, please put them up so they're not a distraction from us. I love pets, but I don't want to focus on your pet and not on you and the conversation we need to have. And just kind of go through that. And these things you need to tailor to how you speak. So the way I do it may not be the way you do it, but at least it's giving you some ideas. And then do your research, prepare your CMA, get everything ready, put your presentation together, finishing touches on it. If you want to do a customized CMA and RPR report, do it. Have all that information there. RPR, I use it just as a guideline because they don't look at specifics of the neighborhood. They look at the whole city that you're looking at. So it's not as accurate as your CMA. So use your CMA, but also go to RPR because it'll have things and information about the neighborhood, a walkability score, the AARP scoring system for that neighborhood. It has a lot of information there. And so I pull some of that, I pull some other stuff, and I combine them to do my listing presentation. And then conduct your listing presentation and present your marketing and pricing strategies. I have separate sheets, and I know I've shared them with some of you that I put together over the years. And I'll do a cover sheet, a thank you letter to my clients. And I always put that at the beginning of their presentation folder. I leave them a folder and I will slip this in and say, you know, thank you for allowing me to come out and present this information to you and your spouse or family or whatever. I hope that you find this valuable, and I'm looking forward to working with you. I always take the positive. I always assume that I am getting the business, and then I ask for the business. So you need to get familiar and comfortable with doing that. Assume that you're going to be the one they choose and ask them to choose you. Now, if you're not a good match, then we'll talk about that as well. There are ways of politely rejecting a buyer and seller. You don't have to work with everybody that comes across your desk. If you decide that, yeah, I really don't know that we can work together well, don't do it. Excuse me. Ask for the listing, complete the listing paperwork. MLS does have a rather detailed sheet that you can use as a template. I think probably my first year, I used it as a template just to make sure I didn't forget to ask any questions. And then I stopped using it because I knew what questions to ask. I knew what was going to be on MLS, what's a required field on MLS, all that good stuff. We did do a video. Oh gosh, Mario and I did it about a year ago. And it's how to enter a listing into MLS. It's in 1U. It's a good resource. So take a peek at that if you get a chance. And we talk about what's a required field, what's not a required field, and how to differentiate them on things. Now, if you're putting a new listing in MLS and it's a coming soon type thing, there are fields that are generally required to go active that are not required on your coming soon feature or your inactive feature. And so it's a little bit different on that situation. But in general, there are specific things, and they will tell you, and it will highlight in red if it's a required field. and you can't continue to move forward on your entry until you've gone back and corrected whatever it is. So we'll go over all that as you guys get listings. All right, market and service the listing, communicate, negotiate, and close. That's what you're here for. You're here to get this property marketed in the shortest amount of time for the highest price and get it closed and negotiated and saving your clients time and energy. After the sale, follow up. I attend every single closing. I say every single one. There have been a handful that I did not or could not attend. Excuse me. But if I know that I'm scheduled on vacation and I have a closing coming up, I reach out to one of my fellow agents and say, hey, I'm going to be out of town and I have a closing. Would you be available? And could you go in case my client has any questions? And then update that agent on what's going on, what's the status, here's the file, here's what's happened, and make sure they know where everything is. So if at the closing table, your seller or buyer has a question, you have a backup agent there. And then I usually either do a nice gift card or something for their time of the agent sitting at the closing table for me. And most agents don't have a problem doing that. If you need me, I don't have a problem doing it. So, and ask them, and you have a little break when you're at the closing table, usually between the time where they've signed all the documents and your closer is back making copies of everything and getting it ready for your client to take with them. Ask your clients at that point, say, you know, I hope that I've done a really good job for you, and I hope you feel I've done a really good job for you. If I have, would you mind doing a quick little testimonial for me? Pull out your camera, put them on video, and just say, you know, Mario was an excellent agent. I really enjoyed working with him. He's very detail oriented, and I highly recommend whatever they come up with. Or if they don't want to be on camera and don't want to do it that way, say, would you mind going to my Google page? I will send you a link and leaving a review for me. I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps my business and helps me grow. And don't forget, going forward, if you hear of anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or lease, please keep me in mind and refer them to me. I will pay you a $50 gift card or whatever for any referral. Unless they're licensed, that's the maximum you can do. And so, but let them know you're going to reward them regardless if that person buys a property from you or not. You're going to send them a $50 gift card just because they referred you. Small cost to do business like that. Now here we're talking about saying no. It's okay to say no. And the way to do it is on the next slide, but I only work with motivated, qualified, and realistic sellers. We all know that sometimes people's expectations are not realistic. If you can't show them that they're not realistic, there's no sense working with them because that's setting the wrong tone from the get-go. So the way to say no with grace, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm afraid that we're not the best match for doing business at this time. I know I won't be able to meet your expectations, and I'd rather turn you down now than disappoint you later. Thank you for your consideration. I wish you all the best. That's a graceful, simple, easy way to say no to somebody. It's not going to upset them. They're not going to think poorly of you. You just are not a good match at this time. And that doesn't mean that in the future, things will change and they may come back to you. But right now, you're not a good match and you're saying no to them. So don't be afraid to do that. We're going to talk about pre-listing questionnaire here. You guys all should have a copy of this in your paperwork. This is the pre-listing questionnaire. This is the first page of it. These are the questions you need to go over. And you need to find out upfront in detail right away. Are you the sole owner of the property? Yes or no? And then write down yes or no. Is this held in a trust? Some people are doing living trust now. Some people are doing LLCs, trying to protect assets and stuff like that. Find out if they are being held in a trust. If they are, you will need to know, are they an authorized signer on that trust? And you'll have to have them send you the paperwork showing that they are, because otherwise you cannot legally list the property. You need to be working with the owner of the property. If it's being held by a company like my Making a Wish Foundation, that's an LLC, I had to ask her for articles of incorporation. I showed that to you last week. And it just showed that she's an authorized signer on the account and is capable of selling the property, eligible to sell the property. Ask them, how long have you lived in the property? And listen to what they say and write down notes. I take it one step further. I ask them, how long have you lived in the property? And I also ask them, when you purchase the property, what drew you to this specific house? Because that's important. If it was something that drew this particular family, maybe it'll draw your next buyer. And so find out what it was that made these people decide to purchase this property. And maybe you can use it. You know, why are they looking to sell? Are they, you know, downsizing? Are they upsizing? Are they relocating? Get as much information as you can. Maybe it's a divorce situation. If it is, make sure that they understand there are, you know, different rules and regulations involving that, and put them in touch with John Drennan's. He's a certified in divorce. Put him in touch with him. He knows the ins and outs. Rob's probably a good resource as well on that. And then get an idea of, do they know what the price is of their home? Have they checked? What are their expectations on that? You know, some people don't have a clue. Other people will go, oh, I looked on Zillow, and explain to them. If they say, well, my Zillow report, that's all well and fine. However, we're finding that those reports aren't necessarily accurate. So let me do a full market analysis and compare existing sales in your specific neighborhood and see if I can't get a more accurate price for you. Find out, do they have solar? Do they have any leases on the property? Anything along those lines, because we have specific new paperwork as of about a year ago that's required for solar panels, for existing leases. And there's a third one, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But find out those informations. Yeah. Have they done any improvements since they purchased the house? And what are they? And how long ago were they done? Find out all the information that you can. How old is the roof? Have there been any issues with leaks or anything along those lines? How old's the air conditioner? Is it working properly? Catherine had a problem last night. We just put this lady in a home probably 2 months ago, and there was an undetected leak in the wall for her hot water tank. Well, it's not going to show up on an inspection. The inspection did say that there was some signs of rust and to keep an eye on the unit. It may be going bad, but it didn't say anything about a leak in the wall. There was no evidence of mold or water stains on the sheetrock. They sent me the pictures of it, and oh my God, you've got mold everywhere, and you've got water stains everywhere, and there's water running out on the garage floor. And I'm like, Catherine, if she's noticed this, why hasn't she said anything until now? You know, we're trying to get the home warranty to cover it, and I don't know if they will or won't, because she's only been in there 2 months. They came out and looked at it and said, well, this has probably been going on for 4 or 5 months. She didn't own the house 4 or 5 months ago. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I did talk to Soroya over at American Home Warranty, and she said it's probably going to be considered a, what'd she call it? A undisclosed, unknown issue, and chances are they will probably cover it, but they don't cover sheetrock repair and that type of stuff. So the client's going to have some cost involved. or she can go back on her home warrant, her home insurance, and see if they will cover it because it's a sudden loss and an undetected leak behind a wall. So we're working on it. You get strange stuff like this. When I talked to Soroya last night, I said, I don't know how this is going to shake out. And she said, I deal with it all the time. Don't worry about it. Please tell your client not to worry about it. Get some rest tonight. We'll call her in the morning and go over what the inspection said from our people that came out and what our game plan is moving forward. So hopefully that's being done. It's supposed to be being done. But you never know. So pay attention to the little things and ask them if they've had any issues. Have they been resolved? Is everything working properly? You know, what kind of flooring do you have throughout the home? I'm going to be walking through the house, so I will see it, but ask them on the questionnaire up front. Has the kitchen been remodeled? If so, when? What kind of cabinets are there? What color? You know, is there a pantry? What type of counter and materials on the counter? Very important questions. When was the last time they painted? Do they have popcorn ceilings or have they changed them? You know, an older home, you're going to have popcorn ceilings. I still have it in the majority of my house. One room has been updated because it's a pain to do. So find out all these informations. You know, what color are their fixtures? Are the fixtures up to date, updated and low flow? Are any of the appliances in the house energy efficient? You know, all of these questions are good information for you to have and will help you in putting your CMA together. I had, yes.
Yeah. If I can go back just really quick 1 second, and two things I think really for mortgage is most important. Knowing the age of the roof will definitely help prospective buyers. Also help us understand if it can go FHA or if there's going to be an issue going FHA. Totally huge. Also, air conditioners. Ask them if they have it regularly annually maintenance. If they do, leave those records out for the home appraiser, and that will save us these guys that are trying to milk and delay and slow the process down by having to go back out there after you have a air conditioner inspected. If you show regular maintenance, that's just going to help you guys, help everybody, help the transaction go smoother. Roofs also help out with insurance. You know, I'm sure most of you are aware. If they just put a roof on in the last year, you know, they can save 20, 30, 40% on their first year's coverage. That you explain to the borrower, that could help get you more money for your house because they're saving the money and make it more attractive over another house. So those are two big things to help you out.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. And on your seller's disclosure, there is a location on page 2, and I think it's probably number, I don't know, 6 or 8. And it asks the age of the roof. So your seller's disclosure has that information for you, or it should have it. If it's not filled out, then specifically ask for it. But on your questionnaire up front, let them know we're going to need the age of the roof. We're going to need the type of roof. Is it composition? Is it tile? What type of roof it is? You know, majority are going to be composition. And so just go through all of these. And one other thing to keep in mind, we're kind of out of storm season right now, but once you get the listing, and I make this a habit on all of my listings, when we have a hailstorm or a thunderstorm or straight line winds come through, I make sure that I call my clients after the storm and say, gosh, that was pretty bad last night. I hope y'all are doing okay. Was there any damage to the property that we need to address? And that is just, you know, showing concern for them and the property and making sure you're addressing an issue right up front if it happens. So make sure that you get into that habit, you know, especially during the spring here. You never know what's going to happen. You know, I've had properties where out at Providence, they have those stupid plastic fences and a hailstorm came through with quarter-sized hail, and it looked like somebody taking a shotgun to the fence. Well, that all had to be repaired. There was hail damage to the roof. I had to get the insurance company out there, get a new roof. And those things can delay any closings, but if you handle it properly, it won't. And, let any potential buyers know, okay, we had a storm come through. Unfortunately, we had some hail damage. We are working on addressing that already. And we should be good. We may need to extend closing by a week or so, depending on everyone's schedule and availability for repairs, but we are working on it and we'll keep you updated. It's always the best way to address something like that. Okay, here is that script I was telling you about, Debbie DeGroat. It's going to be in 1U. It's under coaching courses and scripts. So if you just go in and type, you can even do a search bar. It says real estate script book 1, and it will come up. So it's a good idea to check this out and look at it. All right. Your research, complete your questionnaire, qualify the seller, make sure they are ready to sell. Is there something holding them back from selling? Does one spouse want to sell and the other does not? You need to get all of those things addressed up front and then schedule that appointment and talk to them about it. When you're out at the property, look at all the special little details. You need to find out, is there any paint that's peeling? Is the roof in good shape? Is the garage door in good shape? What's the curb appeal like? Are the plants overgrown? I take a notepad when I walk through with my client, and I usually do my presentation and my CMA first. And then I let them know, I go, we're going to talk about the value of the home first and do my listing presentation for you first. And then if you have the time, if you could walk me through your house and point out certain things to me and answer any questions I may have, I would greatly appreciate it. And walk through, I take a notepad and I walk through and I take notes about everything. It also gives me a chance, in case I don't know and I'm putting in MLS, I can write down the type of flooring that they have in case it disagrees with what they put. And I just use it to reiterate, is it gas or electric on the appliances, on the HVAC system? Is it gas? I just take detailed notes as I walk through the property. And if you have a level measuring tool, they have those laser measurers that you can get. I got mine at CCAR. You can take room measurements if you'd like at that point. Or my photographer and my inspector will take room measurements. Costs a little more to have them do it. But they're probably going to be more accurate than mine. It takes less time for them to do it than me, because I've got the client sitting there waiting while I'm measuring. So that's a good time to do all of that. And talk to your people and say, hey, look, I noticed there's a little bit of overgrowth on these plants. They are going to need to be trimmed up a little and cut back. And, we don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So we need to make sure the house is looking as good as possible. Maybe add some color spots for flowers. I have one client, bless her heart, she does not have a green thumb whatsoever. And her idea of planting flowers is to go to Hobby Lobby when they have 40 or 50% off, getting some artificial flowers, coming home and sticking them in the ground. It works. That's just, does not have a green thumb. She's not into watering and taking care of plants every day, and she needed some color around the house, so she went and found what she felt was a good match, and it didn't look bad at all. And so there are all kinds of ways of doing stuff like that. If nothing else, have them go get some plants that are artificial and just plant them. It works. And if they do plant new plants, make sure they're watering them and maintaining them. Create and deliver your listing package, information about their home, their comps, your resume, a sample of contracts. I usually put your information about brokerages, your consumer protection statement, Even though it's on my email as well, I always put those in their packet of information. I will do a sample listing and I will write sample across it in highlighter so they know it's a sample. And I will do maybe even a sample contract, a track 1 to 4, so they can take their time and go through it before they get an offer so they're familiar with it. And I let them know these are contracts. If you have any questions about them, they're mainly just so you're familiar with them. But if you have questions about them, please let me know and we'll review them. And then your cover letter, like I said, I do a thank you cover letter. Here's an example of a cover letter that you can do. And it asks for information, lets them know they need a spare key. You're going to need a mortgage statement. You're going to need the homeowner's information. And if they're a trust or LLC, you need the information on that, the copies of the articles of incorporation and all that good stuff. All right, your listing process. Now, depending upon the type of market we have 3 markets. We have a seller's market, a balanced market, and a buyer's market. If the sellers are in control, your listing process is going to take between 1 and 5 months. Lately, it's been closer to 2 weeks to 1 month. But traditionally, it's 1 to 5 months that you're going to have a listing. I've got the Eichel property. It's been on the market since April, and we still don't have an offer. Well, I kind of sort of have an offer, but I don't know that she'll take it. And that's average. When you do your CMA, it will also tell you average days on the market for the neighborhood. That is very important information to have. And there's also cumulative days on the market. It'll say CDOM. That's cumulative days on the market. So if that property's been listed with more than one agent, it will tell you on your cumulative days on the market that in your active days on the market may show 39, but your cumulative days may show 41 or 61 or whatever. That will tell you how long the property has been marketing. The way to zero that out, this is a little tip and trick for you guys. If you have somebody that wants to take their property off the market, do some repairs, and then put it back on the market when that's done, instead of just going temporary off the market, have them cancel the listing, do the repairs. As long as the property is off the market for 31 days, 31 is the magic number, that cumulative days on the market zeroes out. So it'll come back on the market as 0 when you list it new. And you can do your listing paperwork up front and just have 31 days down be your date for the relisting of it. But that is how to zero that out. Has to be off the market 31 days in order for the cumulative days on the market to zero out. So keep that in mind. Now they can always pull the last listing. If it's a good agent and they're doing their homework, they may search that property address. I don't know if you guys notice, when I go in, I don't necessarily put the full address of the property. I will put, like on Eichel, it's 17212. I will put the house numbers in MLS and pull it up. And that way it'll pull up everything that has that house number. And so if there are other properties that are 17212, or if this property has been listed before, it all pulls up within the time frame. If it's a 90 days on the market, it'll show 90, and just pull it up as it was on already listed prior. And you can see past listings. You can also go to your tax records, and it will show on your tax records that the property was listed, and it'll give you the MLS number, and you can just click on that MLS number on the tax records. It'll take you right to MLS, and it will show you the listing, the last time it was listed. And so that's a good resource as well. So utilize all those things. Now, if we have a balanced market, you're probably looking at 6 months on your listing. If it's a buyer's market, you could be looking at 7 to 12 months on your listing. And so make sure that you pay attention to these numbers, because when you put that listing contract together, a lot of people like a 90-day listing. Don't do a 90-day listing. I like a 6-month listing. And then you can extend it if you need to. That and explain to your seller why you're doing a 6-month. Right now we are in a balanced market, and on average, we're looking at 6 months to close on a transaction. So I would like to set your listing up for 6 months. Hopefully we will sell it earlier than that, but just to make sure, I would like, a 6-month listing on it, and explain it to them that way. They'll understand. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Bear with me. All right. Oh, we are at the end, and I'm going to tell you, you need to go out there, make 3 calls to people that you know, add 3 people you do not know, and then send them all 6 note cards and let them know who you are and you'd like to help them. And it was a great conversation we had. I look forward to seeing you again, or whatever it is. But get out there and meet people. 3 calls, 3 ads, and 6 note cards. Does anybody have questions for me? I know we went over a ton of information. I'm going to take this down. Stop sharing. Does anybody have any questions, concerns? Ramon, we haven't heard anything from you. How are you?
Oh
You
no,
may
I'm
not
good.
be.
No,
Oh,
I'm good. How have you been?
good. Does this all make sense?
No, it does. It definitely does.
Cool.
So looking forward to using some of this information.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, use that sheet, that questionnaire. It will
Yeah, I
help you
made a
guys
copy. Yeah.
immensely. Yeah, it will help immensely. I know Craig and I had something last week that we were looking at, and unfortunately, the person didn't tell the full story up front. Um, and it took us a while to figure it out. But if we had that questionnaire and went and used that questionnaire, we could have probably spent less time on it. That's why it's so important to use that questionnaire. You need to find now, and also if you're dealing with somebody that has a death in the family, maybe it's a spouse has passed or whatever, and they're looking to sell their house. Make sure that you know that information, because there are going to be heirship affidavits and all kinds of things that are going to need to be prepared if they have not gone through probate. And if they have gone through probate, you're going to need to verify that and everything. Be very sensitive to these people. Most of you know I lost a spouse myself several years ago. It is a very challenging time for these people. They always tell you, in case of a death in the family, especially if it's a spouse, do not make any major changes the first year. But unfortunately, sometimes people have to. And so be very sensitive with them. If you need to bring me in on it, say, I'm so sorry for your loss. It must be horrible. Never tell them, I know how you feel, because you do not know how they feel because you've not gone through it. But let them know, we have our associate broker and trainer in the office that has gone through this in the past. If you don't mind, I can have her help me on this transaction. She understands some of the things you may be going through or feeling, and it may be helpful. And bring me in on it. It's a horrible time when you have a death of a spouse. And everybody handles it differently. Every situation is different and unique, but make sure that you kind of treat them with kid gloves. And so treat it like it's your own mom or grandma or something. And just be sensitive and considerate of their feelings and what they're going through. Because it's not very good. I'll tell you that flat out. Unless you were the one that unalived them. Just kidding. But just be considerate of things like that. And talk to your title company. You can go ahead and open title on any property up front. And if you do open title, make sure it is in MLS. And request, you cannot require, but you can request that the buyer uses your recommended title company, and just let them know we've already opened title. We would prefer to use the title company that title is open with. And most agents are fine with that. Mario's not here right now, but we had one the other day, and they're like, well, we would rather use our title company. And go, we're paying for title. If you were paying for title, we wouldn't have a problem with it, but we would like to use our title company. And so that seems to be their come back to on negotiations. Well, we aren't using our title company. We want more money. Well, that's not fair. That's not right. Title companies all charge the same in the state of Texas. It doesn't matter which title company you use. If they've already opened title with someone, be accommodating and use them, unless you've had a really bad experience with that title company, which that happens. But other than that, I think we're good. Anyone else? Robert, Tony, Troy, Craig.
One last thing. You were doing the 336.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff this weekend. You can. I went and just let you know, Mecum Auto Auctions at the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center this year. Just with my son and his friend and his dad. The people are buying $150,000, $200,000 auto vehicles, multiple. You're sitting in the back of a Maybach with them. You ask them, hey, are you a dealer? Oh, no, I do this. What do you do? Oh, well, I'm in mortgage. I'm telling you, it's easy to just put yourself. Plano Balloon Festival may not be as good as that, but I mean, if you have some business cards in your back pocket, you should always easily put yourself in. It's not like you're walking up to somebody in a Starbucks. You're in a social environment. You strike up, just be that person, strike up. Make it fun, challenge yourself, and tell yourself, hey, every business card I hand out, I'm going to make $50. So, but just go out there and get that business.
Exactly. And I don't know the details because I didn't participate. Angelo might have a little better idea on this. But last weekend, Catherine and Mario and Angelica went and participated in a local festival that promoted
Viva Peru, Viva Peru, Viva Peru.
Yeah, it promoted different nationalities, and they had a table there, and they got, what was it, Mario or Angela, 130 leads.
Yeah, so we did get a lot of leads throughout because we did a raffle. We did all the kids were doing. We have a roulette, so that's how we were able to get a lot of people in, and we were in the very corner next right by the stage, so we were very lucky to have that.
Yeah, so use those information. And it's a once a year event, and I know they have participated last year. Catherine and Mario participated last year, and so it's an ongoing thing. This is the second annual for us. So get out there and just make yourself visible. Talk to people. We do have a networking thing tonight. I'm trying to find it right now. The Chamber of Commerce for Little Elm has a grand opening tonight. And it's from 6 to 8, and I'm trying to find information here to tell you exactly what it is. But they are they're doing a grand opening for The Lawn, it's called. Why am I not finding it? Hang on. I know Michael's gonna be there. Tomorrow's event. Okay, this is The Lawn at the Lakefront. Thursday, September 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at 125 Main Street. I'm going to put that in the chat for you guys. Oops. So if you want to participate, it's a grand opening of The Lawn at the Lakefront. You're going to have food, champagne, toast, and festivities, it says.
Lawn.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but hey,
It's a lawn. I
yeah,
looked it up.
smart Alec. Uh, but if you guys want to participate, we'll be there. Good opportunity to talk to people. And don't forget, we're the office's chamber members. I'm a chamber member. So if you ever want to go to any of the Chamber of Commerce events, they have luncheons, they have ladies' luncheons, they have various things. Just let us know and we'll get you hooked up. So that's the end of my speech for the day. Does anybody else have anything? How'd I do, Troy? Thumbs up? Okay.
You did amazing. You did absolutely amazing. You're awesome.
Troy has a background in coaching and teaching and training as well.
I was going to say radio.
Oh, yeah.
He has a good voice.
Yeah, I've got a great face for radio.
Oh, you will love me. You will love me because I do the social media for my mom.
I already love you, brother. When I met you yesterday, there was nothing but love for you, man. You know, the only thing I would add is one of the things that I do in my pre-listing is as I'm speaking to my client or the prospects on the phone, one of the first questions I'll ask is, what are you looking to change about your living condition? It creates a conversation. And that's when I get a ton of information. Hey, we're downsizing or we're adding people to the family. This is like on a cold call per se, or someone that just called in. And I always try to schedule the appointment a day after or 2 days after we talked on the phone. And I will pay someone or send in the mail, express mail. So the next day they get my pre-listing packet. So they already know all about me. And by the time I get there, it's all about the relationship. We're just having a conversation. Another trick that I've used for people that have high expectations for a home that is not the shiny penny or the nicest home in the neighborhood. Let's say that a home is worth, I'll just make up a number, $500,000 if it's in prime condition. And this particular property, they upgraded the face plates on the switches and maybe they put some new handles on the doors, but they have tile countertops still. And they think that their upgrades are going to get them 500, but we're looking at it as a professional to say you're probably going to get more in the 475 range. If they have any pushback, I have obviously ran a CMA and pulled all the comps of the area. I will invite them to go look at the currently active available homes at that moment in time and say, put on your buyer's hat and tell me, when you walk into this house and the curb appeal, when you see this home, does this just pop from the street? Yes, it does. Now, when we go back to your house, I really want you to get rid of your emotion and tell me if your home pops, because as a buyer, which one are they going to be more excited about? So that there's some tips and tricks in that. And I don't mean being tricky like a used car salesman, but ways to get instead of feeling like you're doing this with a client or a prospect, is to get them to put their guard down. And then 9 times out of 10, they will realize, yeah, my home's worth less money. And then I ask them, if we sell your home for that magical number I just said, 475, will it get you to your next destination? And 9 times out of 10, it will. So I was listening to everything which you said. I've got 2 screens here and I was reading through everything that was on the screen. I'm like, this is amazing training. And I just like everyone here, super attentive and you're awesome. I've worked with your mortgage company before in another state. So Rob, you guys are highly qualified and a great mortgage company. So I appreciate you letting me sit in on this.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, Troy is also licensed in 2 other states, Arizona and California.
Yeah, I don't say that a lot in Texas. They don't like I changed my plates the second day I was in Texas in 21. So
you're with family here, so you're okay.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. But I love the community. I love the culture. I love the fact that just to reinforce what you said, having an accountability buddy is so important, because there's this beautiful spirit that happens between the 2 agents, that when one agent goes out and accomplishes their goal and the other one doesn't, you get to celebrate together. And the one that accomplishes their goal really has this the dopamine in their brain is on overload, and they encourage the other agent. We never discourage, we encourage. Go, look, man, if like here's what I tell agents all the time. If a balding middle-aged man with a ponytail can go out and list properties, you as a young person that has way more energy than me, you can do this too. I mean, anyone can do this if we really laser focus on what our goals are and always focus on the relationship. It all comes together.
Yeah. And I'm really excited for you. If you, I know I'm pressuring you to come on board. We want you. But I think Ramon and Craig, and who else are we missing this morning that's a newer agent? I think they would really, you really enjoy them.
My mom.
Oh, your mom's an older agent. She's
Yeah.
been licensed for a while. She just went away for a little bit.
Yes.
But
I would say the same thing. What if you're not younger and you're older?
then you know what we do? Like, I've got my coffee cup here. I start my days at 4:30 in the morning, and I just laser focus on. We were talking about time blocking. My time blocking is so intense. I actually put in time to have lunch with my wife, because we have to reach our goals. If we don't, no one's going to pay the bills. And when we make it fun, like you said, and I'm kind of reiterating everything in what you said, and I don't want to filibuster this, but when you get up in the morning, and the first thing I do is I kiss my wife, I do my morning prayers, and I really get in the mood to, I want to help people. So when I get that first call and it's the crabby guy that goes, I hate realtors, don't ever call me again, I just get to mirror him and I say, you know what? I hate realtors too. I'm here to help you with your with your housing situation. I'm here to help you get past a hurdle. We're communicating for a reason. So what I say to those of us that are older is that find that spark. Age is just a number, right? We all have energy. I've yet to find a person in my several years of doing this where when a seller accomplishes something or a buyer accomplishes something, I've yet to experience anyone is in a down mood. Everyone is very happy, and we have this natural energy. So focus on your time block. Time blocking is the most important thing that you can do during the day.
Yeah. And for those of you that have seen my calendar, you know how crazy it gets. I've gone as far as to schedule breaks on my calendars.
Yep.
Otherwise, I don't take them. And you need a break. You can't work straight through and, be crazy all the time. You saw what happened to me at the end of April. I ended up in the hospital because I'm a crazy woman. Yep. But you need to take breaks. You need to take vacations. You need to, take care of yourself. And I love Troy's little morning ritual. That works perfect for him. Find something that works for you and do it, and just schedule it. If you have to schedule on your calendar, schedule it.
Go to the gym. Go to the
gym.
Yeah.
We probably all need to work more on that. I know that Angelo and Angelica and Catherine and I have started going to the Cove and the Rec here, and doing more workouts. We try to get over there 2-3 times a week. And so if anybody ever wants to join us, just let us know.
Can I say one more thing?
Yep.
that's helped me with time blocking? So Ramon, one of the things that I do is I have 2 calendars in Google. One is my time blocking. For example, from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. is when I'm returning phone calls and sending out emails. And that is my block of time that I do that. And when I have particular people that I need to speak with, they go in a separate calendar that blocks off, so I know exactly when I'm supposed to call. I'll be happy to share this with anyone that wants to see how I do my calendar, because I have blocks of time that I do certain things, blocks of time where I take a break. And so my days for showing properties or listing appointments start at 4 p.m. because that's when most people are home from work. So from 4 till 7:30, I'm on appointments. If I have no appointments, then we go back to step 1, and that is I need to lead generate. We're in the lead generation business and the relationship business. So I have no appointments tomorrow from 4 to 7. I will be on the phone pounding the phones, meaning trying to create relationships. And Ramon, for just so you know, I've only been here since December of 21, and I know 0 people. I came here with 0 database.
Okay,
So,
yeah, me too.
so if I can do it, brother, you can do it. Because I'm an older dude from Detroit that went to California, that went to Arizona and landed here and said, God, here I am. I don't know anyone. And how am I going to sell homes? This year, I've sold 9 homes. And in 22, I sold 8 homes. So my goal was to sell 12 homes here in Texas.
Okay.
So if I can get
Craig
3
and Ramon
more,
both. Yeah, both Craig and Ramon. Pay attention to him.
yeah, we
If
can
he
all
can do
make
it, you
this
can do
happen.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on. I mean, nobody knows me. Nobody knows me. So everything in which you said earlier is true. Put business card every time you go out to dinner and you pay for dinner, just throw your business card on the tray.
Mm-hmm.
You'd
Right.
be amazed that people will go, "Oh, you're in real estate? I am." Or get your 30-second elevator speech together. Mine is this. Hey, what do you do for a living? I help people with their real estate issues. Do you have any issues with real estate? Because it gets their attention. Anyone can say, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
realtor. Well, no, I don't have any issues. Do you own a home? No, I rent. Why do you do that? You get 0 equity out of this. You have no appreciation. Have you ever thought about buying a home? I pay 3,000. This is a true story. I just talked to a guy last week. He says, I pay $3,000 a month rent in Frisco. I said, you know what $3,000 would get you if you bought a home right now? He goes, what? I said, probably about a $400,000 home. You may not be in Frisco, but we can get you in Little Elm, or we can get you in Aubrey, or we can get you in Salina. And I'm working with the guy today. If he buys, he buys. If he doesn't, he doesn't. He gets 15, 20 minutes from me every couple of days. So there's lots of things. You get your reticulator, your reticular activator working, and you hear someone. And I was at church the other day. A new guy walked in, and someone says, what do you do? He says, I'm a real estate developer. And my friend said, this guy is in real estate. And next thing you know, we're talking, and who knows what'll happen. The worst thing that'll ever happen is I met another person that was cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay. Yes, sir.
you guys
And
just
Ramon's
listen.
really good about getting out there and talking to people.
Yeah, don't be shy and listen to your coach, because everything in which she said is totally correct. And if you guys don't have accountability buddies, you will kick yourself in the butt come the into the first quarter of next year, because you have nobody to hold you accountable. Nobody to say, hey, did you make those calls? No, let's make those calls. Let's do
And
it
you've
now.
probably got another month's time before I'm going to start harping on you that we need to get your business plans together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your 2024 business plan. That is your roadmap and your key to success. So we need to start getting those together. We'll talk about it again in November and December, and we'll have them all in place by the end of December. So start kicking around some ideas, start putting some numbers down. The newer agents are not going to have past numbers necessarily, but you kind of, if you've been doing this 5-6 months, you kind of have some ideas on what your costs are for your CCAR dues, your MLS, all of that. You're going to know what those costs are, so you can use those going forward to next year. And the dues just went up, so I'm not expecting them to go up next year, but I don't have any control over that. But you know your monthly fees for the office. Start putting those things together. Start writing them down. Put a budget together, and then we will go forward. Like I said, November, December, with business plans. I may have Troy help me out with that because you guys get tired of hearing me.
I will help you with whatever you want.
All right. Well, you guys get out there and go talk to people. Sell, sell, sell.
Have an
All
amazing
Thank you,
right.
everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.